Game number 2, everybody. Kiev5 versus Dignitas. We have Infernal Shrines as the second map, and again Kiev5 with a ban on ETC. So Dignitas, they can actually think about banning out Soranda again. Personally, I think they're not going to do it, since in this case now they... Actually, I think they are going to do it, since they have the first pick there. The Rough Baby is back to business here. Hey, buddy, how you doing? And welcome to the stream again. Hope that you have a good weekend and a lot of time.
Evening.
Yeah, good evening to you too, sir. Okay, so we have at this point no ban for Dignitas just yet, so they're waiting out what's going to happen here. It's actually really interesting that they don't go for an immediate ban on Tyrande, so they might consider letting her go through. Usually it's the Lost Vikings that Kiev5 is aiming for on this particular map, so I could definitely see that as a second ban for Dignitas. The first ban, on the other hand, either they are running down that... Yeah, okay, there it is. They ban out Diablo! Now that is a very interesting opening here for Infernal Shrines in particular. I mean, we have seen quite a bit of Diablo being played on the map, but I haven't really seen Diablo as a first pick or a first ban, so that seems to be a very early ban that they go for here. I mean, you can play with Diablo, of course, on those shrines, and if you think about it, as you go into these close quarter fights, Apocalypse can be a great ult. Even the Lightning Breath is pretty amazing for this. Diablo can add a lot, especially, of course, with the opportunity to go into Tyrande pick. I suppose they're just saying, hey, we ban out Diablo. If you pick Tyrande, we are going to take Muradin, and you have nothing to combo it off with. So I think that was the thought process behind the Diablo pick, now that I think about it. That has to be the thought process for them. And Kiev5 does not take Tyrande because they're saying like, hey, we don't have anything that we could potentially combo, so Kel'Thas taken. Muradin should be the next pick for Dignitas. It's the only option that they have to go with, like, stun into stun on the side of the frontliner. So, well, I guess they could think about going into a Jaina as well if they really want to go for the burst combo and then try to just take another frontliner here. You could theoretically think about like using Arthas in that case. There's a couple of other options that are not that likely. I mean, in theory, Ethereal with Judgment would work as well. Maybe that Sonya again with a leap, something along those lines. But I'm pretty sure that that Diablo ban is really because of what I just explained. With ETC banned, I mean, usually you have like 3 heroes that combo perfectly with Tyrande. Muradin, Diablo, and ETC. So ETC was banned, and Dignitas, instead of banning Tyrande out, they banned, as I already explained, Diablo, leaving Tyrande open. But if Kiev5 takes Tyrande, then Dignitas picks the Muradin away, and then you suddenly are in a position where you have that stun into stun lock not anymore. Kiev5, realizing that, pick Kel'Thas, allowing Dignitas to go into Muradin and Tyrande, which is actually quite interesting if you think about it. I could have seen them go into... well, maybe the Tyrande still, but then of course Dignitas gets a Kel'Thas plus that Muradin. Either way, you're in a bit of an awkward spot. I guess what Kiev5 could have done is pick Muradin. Dignitas would have reacted with a Tyrande Kel'Thas, and then at least Kiev5 can go into a Jaina and can just simply say, okay, we're going to go Jaina after Muradin stun. That would work. For now, Kiev5, though, I mean, they're going into the next part of the draft here. As I said, they are a team that really love to play the Vikings here on this map in particular. With that being said, I mean, heroes that they could also focus at this point is, of course, again, that Uther. If you have Uther in such a scenario, then you're always in a position where you can start to just like get a little bit of extra damage in later on with the melee assassin because you have that safety net on him. And there is Uther, together with Ethereal, which is going to help to, well, first of all, throw out shields, and then also to just give you on the shrines a lot of damage thanks to the smite and also the Eldrune smite, so you can have a couple of talents that really work against the opponent's team, but also at the same time take minions. AoE is very strong here. I have to admit that one of my personal favorites on this map is definitely playing a Jaina with the Eternal Retaliation taken as the level 4 talent. It is amazing how much damage you can get out of this, especially if you're able to go on level 13 into Burning Rage, because you have so much AoE damage, it's insane. Cassada banned out now. That leaves the Vikings open. Keep that in mind. Kiev5, they love to play their Vikings. It's actually one of the reasons why we see the Vikings banned out against them. So Kiev5 for now should think, oh, they ban a Reyna. I would have banned Jaina here. I would have banned Jaina. Dignitas has the opportunity to use a Jaina together with Muradin and Tyrande. It's the old school sniper combo. And the one thing that you have to realize here is that Jaina is not only good for the hero kills here. She's actually in a very good spot when we're talking about the shrine fights on Infernal Shrine. Just going for the Punisher and trying with Snowstorm on level 4 to really get a massive amount of AoE out to just destroy opponents and minions alike. Here's a false start for Dignitas. A very strong hero, of course, as well. Sylvanas is strong here. Jaina could be picked. Dignitas, they don't have to take Jaina. It's a great pick for them at this point, but they could also decide to go, for example, in a Sylvanas and saying, okay, once that we have the Punisher, we can push with Sylvanas these AoE structures. Vala is kind of popular on this map as well. If you go for a multi-shot build, you can go for a very similar style. With a Tyrande, you can play, of course, solo support, but you can as the second one as well. Normally, when we see the second support, it's Tacita, though, and as he is banned out already by Dignitas, it's a little bit less likely that Dignitas is really trying to go for it. Here's the Jaina for the damage, as already mentioned. Kiev6, theoretically, with a Thrall, could go into a Sonya Thrall. And I kind of would still like the idea of them maybe going into something like the Vikings here. Abathur, of course, is also pretty sweet on this map, and we see him quite often, actually. Well, with the Leoric, I'm not quite sure if they're really still eager to go into a Viking play. Tyrael and Leoric, of course, for AoE damage. Dignitas, though, could go into an Abathur, because they have a Jaina, and the Jaina copy then again would also give them even more burst damage. So that is definitely one of the things that Dignitas could go for now, if they really wanted to. But then they, of course, play Muradin as the solo tank at the front. Symbiote can help him here, but he doesn't really have any kind of panic button, since there is currently no healer except for Tyrande. She can use the Shadow Stalk. And it is a Rexa that we're seeing here again. Okay, Kiev6 today not with the Vikings on one of their favorite Vikings map. Instead that Rexa that we have seen yesterday already. And now the question, is Dignitas going into an Abathur? I find it a bit less likely they're going to go for it. It is still an option though for them. It is one of the things that they could do. But there could be the second frontliner as well. And I actually wouldn't mind that too much. Maybe even with the Johanna here, so that you have a bit more AoE, because that could help you there. But let's see what they're going to play. It's the Vikings for Dignitas. Awesome. Okay, we get the Vikings after all. I would have paid, I would have bet money that Kiev6 is the team to go for the Vikings, given the history on Infernal Shrines. But now it is Dignitas who says, hey, listen up, we're going to go for the Vikings ourselves now. One of the reasons, by the way, why Dignitas, why Kiev6 probably didn't even go for the Vikings is because Falstad is pretty sweet to just like stay on lane, try to take the Vikings down, and then fly in when needed, so that can be played. He's one of the heroes that is in general very amazing on the map. And of course, Tyrande with the Owls can also just always try to just like spot Abathur, take him out. Oftentimes when you go for a build here, you can go for Empower on level 1 because you reduce the cooldown on the heals too, so that helps her also to reduce the cooldown on Shadow Stalk and really make sure that she gets a lot of healing power out. And if then on level 16 you have the choice between the True Shot aura and between a Ranger, you can go for the Ranger talent, and if Abathur is the other side of the map, like the damage that he takes from that is pretty significant. So those two combined put you in a position where, of course, thinking about Abathur, thinking about the Vikings is always a bit iffy on the side of Kiev6, because, well, Abathur, of course, will have relatively low health, and if the Vikings are trying to hide in a bush, then for them it's basically the exact same thing. So that kind of helps here. Infernal Shrines, as we said, is going to be map number 2, and we're going to jump in right away to see if Dignitas can take it with a 2-0 and lead us then into game number 3, or if Kiev6 is able to tie the series. So let's jump straight in and see who's going to take those Punishers. Alrighty. Got an invite as well. Looks like they switched around with who's hosting. Yes, indeed they did. Okay, that means I have to adjust my overlay. Sorry, guys. Alright, done and done. Awesome. Yeah, and once again, shout out to Rough Baby. Thanks, dude. Not quite sure if you already mentioned what kind of chibi you want. Actually, at this point, do I have even something open where my mods can message me? I do not. So I have to do that. Give me a second. I think people can message me over here. So yeah, guys, Rough Baby, if you haven't really said what chibi you want, then please just let my mods know and they will forward it to me. I unfortunately didn't see that. We're going to do that after the game. I want to also give a quick shout out as we're going into the match to... no, that's it. See you guys in a second. And guys, if you like the coverage on the channel, then of course also hit that follow button if you're here for the first time. It will definitely be appreciated. We're going to go into game number 2 and see how Kiev6 is able to do here against Dignitas. Game 2, everybody, is live with Kiev6 versus Dignitas. We have our second map. It is Infernal Shrines, and Dignitas is in the 1-0 lead in the best of 5 series here at the Heroes Battle Arena, powered by G2A and Twitch. To the left side of the map, Air on Kel'Thas. We have Mopsio on Leoric. So Ice Cream on Tyrael, Hydra is playing Rexa, and Lunan is playing Uther. To the right side of the map, their opponents, Dignitas with the lead now in the series, and Bakery is playing Tyrande here in this best of 5. We have JPL on Falstad, Schwimpy on the Lost Vikings, Snitch on Jaina, and Aethero Angel is playing Muradin in this setup. With the talents that we have, we are already seeing on level 1, oh, I like this, the explosive attacks for Balog. We have actually seen a very similar build once, and it was, if I remember correctly, on Blackheart's Bay. If you go for the Balog talents and maybe even go for that lifesteal that you have later on, you can really take all of those camps on the map quite easily. Of course, oftentimes on the Vikings we see on level 4 instead just simply the Mercenary Lord, because with this talent you can easily just like push the lanes with the Mercenaries. But I like that we have a bit of an adjustment here. So Schwimpy is already doing a bit of Viking work up at the top and to the bottom. And the kill potentially against Leoric, and yes, Lunan was trying to save him, of course, but that was extremely well done. With the Viking soaking experience on the lanes, we now just have simply a rotation between mid and bottom to give a few additional stacks to Falstad on his season marksman. So it's a pretty cool move that we are seeing here with the Vikings. I love Viking play in general, but having them on the map here is absolutely awesome. Again, Leoric being attacked, Mopsio needs to get out of here. But yeah, takes some damage, and Lunan is ready to heal him out. A lot of regeneration talents overall. Double regeneration master on the side of Kiev6. They run a Rexa here, the Beastmaster with the Hunter-Gatherer on level 1. Oh my god, Kel'Thas sniped away. That's the problem that you have if you go up against a Muradin, Tyrande, and Jaina. I really like the ban approach that we had on the side of Team Dignitas. We've been going over it during the draft, but now they have, again, this combo that they can use to put a lot of pressure in the early game onto the heroes of their opponent. With the Vikings present in every single map, the rotation is just going on and on and on and on. A solid lead experience already on the side of Dignitas. Here comes the kill. Rexa is dead, by the way. Was taken out by Falstad at the top lane. That shouldn't have happened. Down here, Mopsio surviving. Balog in the mid lane, on the other hand, was detected and taken out by Air and Sir Ice Cream. The shrine is about to be ready. Looks like Leoric is going to look for it. Nah, he's just like checking out what's going to happen down here. Mopsio moves in, takes a bit of damage from the tower, and is now starting to make his way into the middle. No, he's not. He's actually staying, trying to secure the experience. They don't have level 4 yet, so they want to have that first before they go for the shrine. Level 4, not the Mercenary Lord. As Uther dies, we see for the Vikings Eric the Swift taken. So that will allow him to just like move a little bit faster in those lanes. And up at the top, he already has to use exactly that talent, since Hydra is also going for experience. It looks very much like they're not willing to go onto the shrine and fight there, because they know that the Vikings are going to soak EXP, and the longer this fight lasts, the more experience the Vikings are, of course, going to get for Team Dignitas. But now they finally commit to the battle in the mid lane. The problem is that they're already far behind. Actually, not too far behind, but they are behind in the minion count. With a level 4 talents, we are seeing the crippling talents here taken. So extra slow and duration on the side of that Hawk, which is going to be pretty sweet if you're trying to control one of the heroes isolated from the rest. But as you can already tell, we have a very solid amount of minions for Dignitas, and they are going to get this first Punisher if not some kind of miracle happens. Down to the bot lane, Balog is down, and 6 versus 5, that's the level. He has Eric even dying up at the top. Shrimp in a bit of trouble. His attention, oh, again the kill against Rexa. Well played here. Rexa play in general can be quite nice, especially of course if you are trying to just go for a few of these minion kills, or if you are simply attempting to take a few of the camps. But now that we have him in play, we saw Rexa die 2 or 3 times already. Yesterday Rexa was played too, back then by Dignitas. Another kill here, wow! 6 kills against 0.75, so 3 of the Vikings died, but we had 6 solid kills in favor of Dignitas, who are doing an exceptional job now and have also an early access to level 7. Again the stun, and they go for Air. He is able to escape here, or is he? The Punisher is thinking about jumping in again, but Air is still in position. Mortars everywhere, and now they finally are able to defend against it. Of course, experience down to the bottom lane and up at the top, thanks to Schwimpy, who's just present everywhere on the map now and secures that early level 8 for them. So really, really solid experience lead that we see now for Dignitas, and they are starting their rotations again. In the mid lane, nobody's taken over, but there's also no wave that is there, and we already see Falstad and Jaina heading there. Schwimpy up at the top lane together with Balog, and Eric is trying to bait a little bit. Yeah, he's baiting Rexa, but Hydra already knows what's up. He's sitting on top of his mount, and he's just like, yeah, that's a bit too obvious. Someone call Captain Obvious, please, because he wants to have his playback. So we have Lunan and Aya already in the mid lane again, and it looks like Kel'Thas might actually be in a bit of trouble. Oh, nice. Good cleanse, but still, Aya is still taken out. So Aya is down, Lunan is going to fall. It's a double kill once again, and they are so far ahead. With the level 7 talents that we are seeing on the side of Kiev6, we have the Fission Bomb taken, the Ghastly Reach for Leoric, and we see them with the Bird of Prey on level 7 after we saw the Crippling Talons on level 4. A pretty solid move actually on the side of Team Dignitas once again. I mean, 8 kills against 0.75. This is looking pretty strong. Hydra at the top lane is also in a ton of trouble. A stun again. He doesn't die, but he is very, very low and under a lot of pressure. The big problem is that the level 10 abilities are now ready for Dignitas, and that of course means that the next temple or the next shrine is going to be activated. Well, we have a heroic ability for Dignitas, but none for Kiev6. Shrimpy rushes away, goes to the well, and heals himself up with Balog. The shrines are activating, and this is the nightmare scenario at this point. Even the camps are now about to be taken. Well, at least Bakery, Snitch, and Aethera Angel were trying to zone it out. Now that the shrine at the bot lane is active, we're going to see them move in again. Mopsio, they're trying to slow him down, and they might be able to make that happen. Yes, there's the Stormbolt, and in the end, of course, Leoric is going to fall. Leoric down 9 kills against 0.75. We have Mopsio in again. He's of course trying to come back to life here, but already Mighty Gust chosen. And we have the play again chosen. Look at that. Play again and a kill against Hydra up at the top lane. No longboat this time. Shrimpy just saying, yep, I don't need this. So in case that you're not familiar with the talent, you can... this time actually we see Falstad die. Falstad at the top lane, taken apart, so apparently was trying to rotate down. Leoric falling again, Leorki style, so he is already down. And we don't even have the time to really tell you guys what's going on here, but we have now also the Bestial Wrath taken. We're seeing the March of the Black King on Leoric. That will give him at least a bit of sustain during these battles. Sanctification plus also Divine Shield, so a lot of passive talents here on level 10. The Vikings still all over the map, and that Punisher should be taken soon, but this time we are seeing Kiev6 to, they're actually starting to really put some work in this one. But now we have everybody down to the bot lane except for the Vikings, and they are starting, of course, to just like push this back. Level 12 versus level 10. The Vikings are soaking, the Vikings are pushing. Aethera Angel moving in now for the additional minions. We have a lead for Kiev6, but here comes also the Ring of Frost. Divine Shield on Kel'Thas, saving him for now. Tyrande with the Shadow Stalk and Mighty Gust by JPL. Mopsio is taking some damage. The Punisher has been captured, this time by Kiev6. They're able to make that play. Maybe the beginning of a comeback here. We'll find out. Of course, play again. It summons, fully heals, and revives all lost Vikings at a target location. So that is going to be pretty sweet if you're in need when you are in one of those fights, of course. And well, now that the Vikings also have like a full death timer, that is actually a pretty cool talent. Didn't really bring it back into the meta or anything, but now it's played for the first time in competitive, at least the first time that I've seen it, and it's going to be cool to see what exactly Shrimpy is able to do with it. Up at the top, he was still able to soak some experience, and it will lead into that early level 13 talent for them. So now that we have the play again also in the game, and Shadowstalk used a couple of times, we are seeing them with level 16 talent, sorry, 13, and there's Burning Rage, having the Overflowing Light, Giant Killer for the auto attack build for Falstad, Jump, and Icy Veins for the cooldown reduction, and of course the mana management. The build on Tyrande, haven't really talked about it too much. We're seeing her currently with the Ranger's Mark on level 1, Protective Shield on 4, and then Lunar Blaze as the level 7 talent. On 16 we could see, of course, Shooting Star. If not that, then at least the Aura. Damage Aura is always sweet on her. A very, very cool talent to take. But down to the bottom lane, the rotation for Team Dignitas is again happening, trying to, of course, find out if maybe someone is attempting to take that camp, which in this case is not really happening. But it's going to be nice to see how they're going to fare with that level 13 talent advantage. Since we had the mid-game start, we saw a couple of kills actually on the side of Kiev6. So now that they have their rogue abilities, they have a better chance to really make some plays. They fly up to the top. JPL goes again for Hydra. They're moving in. And yes, this is going to be another kill against Rexa. Mighty Gust used to push him into the towers. Very well done here, actually. A very, very sweet play. And oftentimes we see on 16 for the Vikings now even the, instead of Impatience is a Virtue, the stun on Olaf, and of course that can help you even more if you're trying to go for plays like this. The mobility on the map definitely working now for Falstad. That flyability is coming through. 12 kills against 2.25. We're having another Shrine now activated, and everybody is starting to rotate around for it. The level 13 talent is ready for Kiev5, and that means, of course, chain bombs. So it's going to be a party. And talking about party, Eric is not invited. He gets taken out here, so one of the Vikings is down. And besides that, we're having also Crushing Hope now taken on 13. Imposing Will, Wildfire Bear, and Shrink Ray for Uther. So yep, the fight is going to start here, and let's see how exactly we can roll with this. Down to the bottom lane, we see already Shrimpy pushing in again. Nice AoE that he has there. No level 16 talent for them anytime soon though. They still need half a level. And here come the Vikings. Play again, summoning them, trying to cut off Hydra. The chain bombs on the other hand, they hit, jump, negates the damage. Rexa is down, Kel'Thas still alive, Leoric is falling in now too, and Lunan is also obliterated. A triple kill in favor of Dignitas. Well done here. And Shrimpy actually very sneaky with the play again here, moving behind enemy lines, summoning the rest of the Vikings, putting everybody in play, reviving Eric of course in the process, and then just making sure that he is going to get a potential kill. Kel'Thas is now dying after all. He got saved by the Divine Shield a bit earlier, but now we have level 16 talents, and it is the shooting star for Tyrande. We have also on the side of Jaina Northern Exposure, Impatience is a Virtue, no stun on the side of good old Olaf, and Hammer Time plus Stoneform. One of the things that I want to stress again, I've been talking about it a bit yesterday too, is that a lot of people of course argue that if you play the Vikings that Kel'Thas is a perfect counter pick, and they don't really understand why you would ever pick Vikings if your opponent's team already locked down Kel'Thas, since those chain bombs are of course AoE damage like talents that really help you to just like spread the love, get the damage in, and can wipe an entire team. And it's definitely a solid argument. It's one of the things that you can point out in these situations. But a good Viking player should, after level 13, always be able to use his jump to negate that damage. And that's exactly what Shrimpy did in the last fight. AR again in the corner, taken out, 17 kills against 2.5. The kill against Jaina, though, as the 4 dies, and that Arcane Punisher, of course, is doing so much work right now. Once again, Mopsio trying to get away here, is able to escape, at least for now. Stun hits him, though, and the Stormbolt with a second hit. Here comes the auto attacks, but Mopsio is able to escape, as Lunan healed him and was making sure that he wasn't dropped. At the same time, we are seeing to the top lane now, Shrimpy still getting experience. He will have to rush away here, but he escapes, using his jump once again to move back. 17 kills against 3.5 now. And we are seeing them moving in once again in the mid lane, at the bot lane, going for now also a few of the mercenary camps on the map here. So yep, sweet moves on the side of Dignitas. JPL has to go back, he doesn't have any mana anymore. And just to give you a bit of an idea of how we are looking in terms of damage, we have right now, especially of course Falstad with 33,000. Kel'Thas not quite there yet, 19,000, not really, well, nothing to write home about. It's not going to be like Dear Mama. Today I completely obliterated the opponent's team myself. Right now his hero damage is actually something that he's probably going to keep quiet unless he's asked. So he will have to go into a few more fights if he really wants to make sure that that number increases. We have 16,000 on also Rexa, and that means that Rexa is currently damage dealer number 1 in the team. They have to rely a lot on Kel'Thas here with this setup, and well, they are going to try, but they need to get a few more chain bombs in, and again, Mopsio is dead. Here's the level 16 talent for him now, of course, as well. The renewed swing after the ghastly reach on level 4. Again, JPL with the mighty gas. Divine Shield is saving Kel'Thas. The Arcane Barrier is in play now too. Snitch is focused, but they're going for the stun, and once more, Jaina is already dead though, and maybe the turnaround as the Thero Angel is also locked down and about to be dropped, but Kel'Thas dies first. Hydra on Rexa is also dead. JPL rushing away. So Ice Cream is attempting to jump after him, but it doesn't look likely that he's going. Well, maybe he's going to get JPL. Mopsio is back. Tyrell is down. JPL is gonna fall. Mopsio is back to business, but we still have 21.25 kills against 5.5. A Shrine is once again active on the map, and we have now level 19.5 against level 17. We have the Eldrune's Might talent taken with Holy Ground on level 16 for Tyrael, and we see Imposing Presence for Rexa. He's of course one of those targets that has been attacked over and over again by especially Falstad, and that's one of the reasons why he's trying to use that talent to slow those attacks down a bit. Benediction on level 16 is going to help Uther to keep his boys alive, but let's be honest here for a second. So far, it doesn't really feel like it's going to make a difference, because they are just taken out all over the place. We have now 27,000 damage on Kelthar, so at least in that last battle he was able to dish out another 8,000. That's more like it. Mopsio is going in again, but we have a level 20 against them, and one of the reasons why, of course, only 2 heroes are present for Kiev 5 at the top is that these bad boys are just all over the place, trying to soak experience and also making sure that these lanes are constantly pushed and pressured. So great job by Shrimpy. Again, we're having him now with a checkpoint reached. Also pretty sweet. And yep, they're full heal for them now too. So it's actually like pretty cool that he uses this talent. I have never seen that in competitive before. To be honest with you, I can't even remember if I've ever seen it even in quick matches. Not like the Vikings have played a lot. So it's pretty sweet to actually see not only the hero, but also the talent taken here. So yeah, pretty cool. We're having also the epic mount taken now, and we're seeing Rewind for Mirrodin. The Vikings, I feel I have to at least check the experience for a second. 30,000 experience on the Vikings. 10,000 on Rexa, he's the second, but yeah. Shrimpy throughout the entire time had Vikings on every single lane. I think he participated in like 2 team fights, and yeah, that ignored. We had him just like with a soak whenever he could, and that's exactly what he's doing again here. So Mopsio is being attacked as we speak. Leorki is about to fall again, and that of course concludes the 22nd kill for the team, for Team Dignitas. In kills, well, Leorix died 7 times, 6.25 on Rexa, that includes the Misha kills of course. And now we're seeing again the Punisher move through the keep. The Vikings busy at the bot lane, busy in the mid lane. It is definitely not the game of Kiev 5 right now. Dignitas just proves a bit too strong here. Yesterday they lost against Fnatic, but now they are looking very solid here in the best of 5 series for the 3rd place decider at the Heroes Battle Arena. They could definitely take this. Shrimpy taking a bit of damage. It's of course pretty tricky actually if you have to take care of 3 lanes. And yeah, StarCraft experience definitely helps there. That's one of the reasons why for Team Liquid we oftentimes see Vortex on the Vikings, if any of these bad boys plays them. But right now, again, the attempt to defend the mid lane. Level 20 talent would definitely help Kiev 5. So far, they haven't really gotten an opportunity to take too many structures down there. And of course, the main idea for Dignitas is now to reach another Punisher. And they should be able to actually make that happen for level 20 hits for their opponent. So that would definitely be a very good move and could also lead in, to a victory in game number 2. We have at the same time now up to the top here. Yep, again, Aethera Angel and Snitch going straight for that potential camp, and they do exactly that. So they take 1 down. We have another one already taken down to the bottom of the map where the Vikings are currently active. To the right side, there's another one that is claimed, this time by JPL and Bakery. So it's just like lane push again. Lane presence, lane push against Kiev 5. And of course, Dignitas is currently dominating here. They're doing extremely well. But still, that shrine has not been called out yet. And we have 19.5 versus level 22. But after level 20, those talents, of course, are going to be pretty important. 100 Swiftness, they put to some use, but they can't go for a trap here. At least not just yet. Looking at the damage once more, Kelthar is at 36,000. So he's really starting to get there. He's going to become a big boy at some point, but the problem is that they have, yeah, well, not a lot of time left. Level 20 is going to be ready for that shrine though, so maybe a chance for them to start a bit of a comeback there. After 20, all bets are off, all advantages are gone. You can definitely go for those fights. AR, if they can keep him alive, he's going for the chain bombs again. There's already one, but he's not spreading it, and the keep has fallen. So now that the Punisher is once again active, they can just retreat, try to go for the Punisher. The level 20 talents are now in play, and that means that we're having a double hardened shield. In this case, the hardened skin over the hardened shield, but we also have the Spectral Leech for the additional sustain. Here are the bombs, and it is party time. 2 kills. Tyrande maybe falling as well. That's a triple kill against Dignitas, and all of a sudden they are on the run. Aethera Angel with the bunny hop goes with the jump, rewinds and jumps again. He tries to get away, but well, good luck with that, buddy. So it is a quad kill. And this changes things completely. Hydra is already there trying to defend the core, and everybody else, as you can imagine, is going straight for the wall here, with the exception of Leoric. He moves in for the objective in the game. It's always interesting with the hardened skin here, because Misha also takes a little bit less damage. Well, a little bit, 75%. It's actually a pretty big deal. And now, as all of the heroes are down, we are seeing Kiev 5 with the start of a comeback. It might come a bit too late, though. It might come a bit too late, because let's not forget that 2 of those keeps are already destroyed. They do a solid amount of work here and a lot of damage, and if they push with the Punisher, they might be able to even eliminate a keep. But now that Olaf dying as well, so Rexa is starting to put some work in, takes down Olaf and is now apparently hunting Belok. Schwimpy already on the move back, but Hyder doesn't waste any time here, saying like, alright boys, let's go for it. Top lane, of course, still pressured. But yeah, as I said, after level 20, anything can happen. And well, we have 9.75 kills now against 22. Still a pretty big lead for Dignitas, and they are still 2 levels ahead. But this starts to add up. 47,000 damage now for Kiev6. And we have him at 150,000 siege damage. Only the Vikings have more, with 188,000, 190,000 now, heading straight for those 200. The thing is that we have an Arcane Punisher as well now in play. There's of course always the potential of a bit of a backdoor play, but so far it looks like they're still doing pretty well here. Schwimpy is not taken out. It's a triple catapult that moves in. Kiev6 should actually take that out before he moves in. It is going to be tricky though. Here comes that Arcane Punisher, and they go through the wall, they take a few of the towers, but they're not able to destroy the keep. It's 20 minutes in. It feels like it has been a bit of a longer game, but so far it's only 20 minutes in the match, so that Punisher is strong, but it's not really one of those Punishers that obliterates an entire lane solo. The Orki kept alive here. Yeah, nice play by Luanan, making sure that he's not going to die. The Vikings again pushing the core. Hunter Swiftness has been chosen. They go for the kill. Falstad flies away. Down goes nobody so far, at least yet. Lunan goes down, but he has redemption, so he's going to be back. Misha charges in once more. The Ring of Frost has done some serious work, but we still have the Vikings to the left side. Schwimpy is pushing the lane in. He has all of the Vikings in play. He actually used his heroic for it, summoned them to the core. Now Jaina is down though, and still the pressure in the lane. They're going for Bakery, and they might be able to eliminate him. Tyrande is dead. Athero Angel, can he hop away? Looks like he can. They go for the core after they eliminate the keep. Vikings are still pushing, guys. This is gonna get close. Falstad moves in now too, and yes, it looks like Dignitas is going to take it after all, but definitely quite the power play on the side of Kiev5. They saw an opportunity and they were trying to take it. Now the cores are both losing hit points. The Vikings are about to die here, but JPL has still the hit points that he needs, and it is another victory for Dignitas, but this was a lot closer than they probably expected. Job well done, and GG as Dignitas takes the 2-0 lead in the best of 5 series. Yeah, guys, level 20. That's what a good level 20 can do for you at some point. So